Good evening and welcome to Tim's Tips, episode 2. An airbrush is your friend, not food. Yep, that's right. Tonight we're going to be looking at some airbrushing. We're going to be using the airbrush to do our base coat, but we're also going to use it to create some, I guess what you'd call pre-shading. And for the demonstration tonight, I've got here a small section of Andy Bryant's Small Terrain Resin River, which is a really nice little kit. Lots of different types of sections all, create nice big long river. So what I've done is I've already scrubbed it and pre-primed it with a flat black spray paint, and so now we're up to the stage where we're going to do the pre-shading, and it's a pretty cool technique because it highlights everything for you and creates all the shadows as well. Really simple. I've got all my colours ready to go. For the pre-shading, we're going to be using 868 dark sea green, and then 991 dark sea grey, and then for the earth I've decided to go with 038 Model Air medium brown, then 035 Cam Pale Brown for the highlight, and then French Blue for the actual water. So this is going to be a week by week video. So this week we'll do the base coat, and then the next year we'll be adding the layers on top of that, and then see where we find ourselves after that, and probably doing the flock and all that sort of thing and fixing it up and getting it all ready for the tabletop. Alright, so we're starting with the dark sea green, and I've mixed it off camera, but it should look a bit milky and have a milky fluidity to it. I've mixed, because that isn't an airbrush paint, I've mixed it with Vallejo airbrush thinner, and it's about I'd say somewhere between 60-40, 70-30 thinner to paint ratio. So it should be like a bit of a milkshake, I guess, be the best way to describe it. So yeah, I've just used an old brush to mix it in there. And so yeah, now we're going to use as a guide the contours of the water to pre-shade. Now, using the paint cleaner pot, which looks like this, I've put the remaining paint into the paint cleaner pot, followed by the airbrush cleaner. And to clean out your brush, just clean it out until there's no paint in there left, and then to make sure there's none in the nozzle, simply airbrush, put your finger over it like that, and it'll push any paint back or any thinner back that's left in there or that sort of thing, and it should unblock it, ready for the next round. So that's using your airbrush, the basics. Quite simple, and all it takes is a bit of practice and control through there. Fine detail stuff, using two hands, such as that, for stability, because you do naturally shake, is always a good idea. So now we're going to move on to the dark sea grey, and I'll mix that up and I'll get another coat on for that, and then we're going to finish with the white for the final part of the pre-highlighting / shading. Alrighty. Like anything, it's all loads of practice and just experimenting and not being afraid to do that. And on with the white. So even the best of us make mistakes. What I've done to rectify that is to grab some black paint and just go over it, and then I'll fix up this in here with some more grey and try again with the white, see how it goes. The good thing about using the airbrush is mistakes are usually pretty easy to fix, especially this early on, because they're such thin coats. It's pretty easy to cover up and go over. So we'll go over that and we'll come back to it. Alrighty. So now I'm ready to go with the medium brown. It's an airbrush paint, so you don't need to add thinner to it. If you think it is a bit thick, then yeah, add to it some thinner, but yeah, you should be fairly right if you've shaken the bottle up. One trick with mixing your airbrush paint, your dedicated airbrush paint, is to put a ball bearing in there. Now that that's dry, I'm jumping into pale brown, and yeah, as you saw before, just nice long even strokes with the airbrush, dead easy. So with this, because we're highlighting, we're now just aiming for the upper parts along the ridge of the banks of the river. Highlight those rocks as well. Now what I'm going to do is actually go a shade lighter than planned and go with 027, the light brown Vallejo Air. So this is an even thinner highlight, as you can see. Again, on the ridge line, I'm just going to highlight these large rocks. Yeah, this is all about control. So with the banks now done, we're on to our last colour, French blue. What I might do before continuing on is actually mask up some of the banks so it's a bit tidier through there. Alrighty, we come back when it's masked up. So I've masked up the main edges of the bank and also used blue tack to cover up those large rocks, which I don't really want to have too much blue on if I come away from this and I screw up. So yeah, let's hook into the French Blue 088. So as you can really see that pre-shading coming through. In the blue. Really quite happy with that. I think it's looking pretty good. There you go. So we'll just get this tape off it. Might do is I'll just tidy up the edges here so it doesn't look so static, so final in the line. I'm just going to try and stay below the lip with the airbrush so then not too much blue will go over the edge and spill onto the brown bank. So yeah, there you go. I'm really quite happy with that. Yeah, base coat's done. Really quite happy with that, as I said. Yeah, you could even, if you're really lazy, you could even just put this on the board and that'd be quite acceptable. You know what it is. But we're going to take it a bit further than that. The next stage will be to put the strong tone on it. We'll get some white and do some highlighting on the actual river itself. And yeah, we'll go from there, see what we come up with. But right now it's quite late. Yeah, just thanks for watching. Yeah, it's always quite fun, and yeah, as you can see, it's a bit more time involved than what you think with the airbrush. Everyone thinks it's a easy fix, but you know, if you want to do it properly, yeah, do take the extra time with it. Yeah, not much else to add. Big thanks to Andy at Small Terrain for getting this down to me, for me to paint up. Can't wait to paint the rest of the river up for the gaming boards. So yeah, until next time, remember that the airbrush is your friend, not food. Oopsies. That is